Come on. All right, 5, 4, 3. To the main report. The man, Kyle F. Nash. It is officially Super Bowl time. Super Bowl season, you want to call that? Kyle, what's up?
That's a bit much. Super Bowl time is fine. You know what else it's time to do? Hey, EJ, are they number one now, bitch?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So bad, dude. they also deserve to lose that game too, for the record.
Well, since we're going into it early, we're going to talk about it anyway. I'll go ahead and say it, and I have no problem saying it. Patrick LaVon Mahomes II at the end of that game, I would definitely say lost it.
Absolutely.
He was doing his best. Yeah, he was doing his best impression of Jameis Winston in the CFP and just basically laid the ball on the turf. You know all about that Seminole fan.
Yeah.
And I thought Patrick LaVon Mahomes II was more in tune with throwing the ball away when it's time to throw the ball away. Apparently, I'm mistaken. That display is just a lack of him throwing the ball away. I'm all about, live to fight another day, but not at the expense of a turnover. And I'm sure he would tell you that he held the ball too long and wasn't
the
smartest.
The worst one was even the turnover. The worst part was, I think, was the egregious goal line and him going backwards twice and fucking getting sacked, and actually was giving his kicker a harder shot to fucking tie the game.
Sure, but by the same token, I also feel like the kicker could have made the connection.
It's still good
anyway.
Right, but still, it's just the perspective of all, But
I mean, that's all still a crapshoot. Like that's not. Oh, the kick is harder. He may have still gotten it, and that part's moot immediately. At the end of the day, the thing that jumps off the page is that he handed the ball back rather than create a situation where he took the first sack. Mm-hmm. He was getting a little bit away from the end zone and keeping the clock running. Both things at that time that Kansas City wanted, right?
By the way, though, even though it worked out, everybody's now poetic now because the rule. Remember last week the Buffalo game where Buffalo didn't touch the ball in overtime, and now this time it actually happened. Oh, see, it works. No, the rule's still stupid. I don't give a fuck. The rule's stupid. I don't give a shit what each week played out. I hate the rule. End discussion.
I think we're talking about it too much. It's not the biggest problem the NFL has.
No, of course. And again, but let's not play the last thing we saw is the best thing we saw. And the last thing we saw is the way it should be. Because a week ago, everybody was saying that the rules sucked. Everybody's not saying now the rule's okay now. Like
you did. Well, and no, yeah, they're both going the wrong direction. At the end of the day, the Bengals did what we asked the Bills to do: stop somebody.
Right.
So that's the only thing that's different.
Okay, so let's go ahead. As we've been doing since the playoffs started, is as you, of course, season ended, we gave final grades to all the teams that didn't make the playoffs. We gave a lot of grades the week after that to the wild card losers, then the divisional losers, of course, last week, and now this week we will now say sayonara to the two teams that are now eliminated from the playoffs due to championship weekend. First off, let's go to the Chiefs first. Kansas City Chiefs, who lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. Say that 3 times. I love it.
Based on the expectations of many, I don't see how they can get higher than an A-. If you give them more than an A-, you are just a Chiefs fan going off at the handle, and I will dunk on you repeatedly. You will be a donut in my coffee. That being said, for me, I didn't have their expectations quite so high. I put myself in a position where, I knew they were going to win the division. I knew they were going to compete for the conference because I said all of that and predicted that. That was my prediction in September. And it looked so hot, but their schedule was also rough, right? There were definitely rougher elements to their schedule. Let's not forget about that, especially opening up, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, we were given an indicator of this team's inconsistency. We just didn't know how inconsistent the Browns would be, and they barely beat the Browns to open the season, right?
Right.
That all of the above being said, I'm going to grade them high. I'm going to give them an A- myself, more on the strength of their ability to evolve as a football team. And if you watched only Conference Championship Sunday, Ernest Christian, because the YouTube commenters tell us that we don't watch the games, right?
Allegedly.
If the only game, allegedly, exactly. If you only watched the Chiefs on Conference Championship Sunday, you saw both versions, right? The meticulous, calculated, we're going to cut at you with 1,000 needles until and then we'll hit you with a big one when you're not ready. That's how the Chiefs got up big. That's what made a lot of us think that the Bengals would have problems. And the defense wasn't bad either. They improved throughout the year. Joe Burrow running the ball around and getting out of trouble like he was a Steve Young or Joe Montana. Please don't say Brady. Brady can do that in his 20s, so stop it. Okay, you particular, Ernest Christian. I don't care if he's retired now or not officially.
Still crying.
But what's that?
Still crying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm at an A- just because while the Chiefs had a rough start, they did the right things and they had to change who they were to right the ship. This wasn't just they started catching passes better or started playing better defense necessarily. They had to make adjustments because they had the targets on their back, and they should get bonus for that. That's why I put them in A-. I'm going to take points off for the way the Conference Championship Sunday ended. Not so much that they blew a big lead, but that it was if it was another situation where it looked more like the Bills game, I'd have been fine. I'd have given them a flat A. We wouldn't have a problem. But I hate to use the word choke, but golly, find me a better word for it, Ernest Christian.
No, they did choke. I mean, gives Disney credit. They stuck around and did their job. You are very gracious to the Chiefs here, to be honest, in grade wise. Very gracious.
I did not have that high an expectation. I think some of the fact that they've played a lot more football than any other team in the NFL in the past 3 seasons matters. I think they should get credit for that.
Right.
Call it extra credit, if you will.
Right. And that could be the case here, too. I gave them a C.
Damn.
Honestly.
With a vengeance, Ernest Christian. Holy.
Maybe a B- tops. That's as high as I'm going. Because, again, they went below my expectations to number one regular season. Granted, they ended the year well. But I had them as a 13-plus win team. They won 12 games. They didn't match the records there. I had them as number one.
Oh, well, kick them out the window.
Okay. Now, obviously, we have the conversation, going through here. I trust them, this and that. But let's be real here. Do I trust them overall? Yes, I do. I do still trust Mahomes, and what happened on Sunday. But one thing we have to recognize is they were not consistent all year long. And we have to.
You didn't recognize that.
I did, but
you refused to recognize that.
I also said the reason in my rankings too is there's no one in the AFC at the time running away with it that I trust more than them. Okay, again, it was about.
Even though you should have trusted the Bengals more throughout the year, like I told you to do.
Okay, so but that's just your opinion. It's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you're right.
Well, you have your opinion, and I have what came out on the field as facts. Yes, that's correct.
Well, the Bengals won. The Bengals beat them twice in the last 5 weeks. I mean, you gotta give them props at some point. Yeah, I agree. And they weren't consistent. And this game showed you here too. First half took the Bengals even to shreds. What the fuck happened in the second half? Forget what happened in the first half with them going for it. Going for it with fast as to go in the first half. Whatever. I thought it was a bit arrogant for them to do that, but whatever. I get it. But then they just fall apart. Like I feel like that play.
I think they got conservative, Chief. Not conservative. Excuse me. I said it the wrong way. It's not that they got conservative. I'm thinking of the Rams. We'll talk about them.
They got the yips, man.
I'm thinking. What's that?
They got the yips.
Yeah, I've heard that's what I heard Colin Cowherd say that. That's not necessarily wrong, but that doesn't tell you what actually happened. What I think it was is that now that they were ahead, they wanted a haymaker. They wanted to. You ever seen in the movies where like they stomp down or they stab down at somebody to try to take them out on the ground, and they do it with this wild, heavy downward thrust to try to finish them off, and then the person underneath is just I'm dodging. Oh, I'm dodging. You can't get to me, right? They started. I feel like with what I saw, they started swinging for haymakers to put the fight away, so to speak.
Right.
And instead, you ended up with a rope-a-dope, as it would figure.
Yeah. No, and I think I think that play too. Also, they got a little bit arrogant as well. Let's be real, got a little arrogant. I tweeted at halftime, Kyle. I tweeted at halftime. That may cost them. That could be an issue.
Sure, you did. Yeah, no, that part you got right. Let me ask you this before you. I don't know that arrogant. If it's them going back to the identity that they're most comfortable with, is that really arrogance? I think they went back to what was comfortable, if that makes sense.
Right. I see your point.
But
I'm gonna go and grade. I'm grading in totality. Obviously, as you said, expectations matter. Coming to these things.
And by the way, I did just check my predictions. I found the paper. Yeah, I had them at 13 wins as well. But I'm also willing to cut slack again for the amount of football they played the past 3 seasons, the tough schedule they had to open the season. Okay, so they missed it by 1 win. Like a C tells me you're basic, son, and I couldn't say that. I couldn't see the Chiefs were basic.
So A, growing up in school, of course, A was excellent, B was good, C was satisfactory, D was disappointing, and F was obviously failure. So this was a satisfactory year for the Chiefs.
You're basic. That's what you said. Right. You're basic. That's what satisfactory is.
Right. Like, to me, they were my pick to go to the Super Bowl. They're not there. Why? There you go. That's why they got graded the way they got graded.
Okay. Well, I mean, based on that, I should have given an F to the Ravens. Oh wait, I don't punish injuries.
No, so. but that was egregious too, especially the fact that they entered the year banged up, and we kept saying all year long, even when they were 8-3. You ask why was I disrespectful to the Ravens? That had nothing to do with the Ravens being disrespectful. The fact they didn't trust them was the fact that they're piling up. And you can't sustain.
Well, no, the reason you didn't trust them is because they weren't them, and I get that. That's not a problem.
And then when your Kingslayer gets fucking knocked out.
Yeah, no, that was big. Yeah, and they still were only losing games by 1 point, or 2 points.
To the credit of John Harbaugh. It's a fantastic coach. So,
man, listen, don't get me started. I'll give you all the Harbaugh love you want for either, brother. Dude. I got you.
You hang tight. We're getting there in a second. Last team here.
It's called teasing here in the business, EJ. I know we don't have the Huddle Up podcast this week, but that doesn't mean I don't know how to tease topics. I
mean, I can rank the teams next week on the Huddle Up podcast next week. We'll see.
And you might actually get them right.
Oh my God!
I said might.
Might. I don't know. When you hear the playback, you might be shocked. Okay. Playback of me and Mike, of course. Finally,
you picked the Bengals number 1, didn't you? You goof. Anyways.
Yep. I went 1A, 1. I went 1A, 1B.
Oh God, that's even worse. Get out. I know this is your house, but you need to leave.
You need to leave. All right, let's get to your boys. Your Niners, who lost to the Rams after first time in 6 years. 3 years, rather.
6 games, 3 years. Correct. Right. This is game number 7.
Right.
Yes.
Let's go.
Listen, man. I know. I'll get it out the way. The Niners get an A. Period. Mm-hmm. Full stop. End of story. Okay. Oh, but Jimmy Garoppolo, bitch, please. When the first thing he says to a media member when he opens up about throwing the football hurt so bad, that should tell you everything. It's not just an oldie song, hurt so bad. No, he means his arm throwing the football in the NFL, bitches, okay? Can we stop with the Garoppolo hate? I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but I'm saying he's as good as Matt Ryan. Hashtag Danny Thompson.
He's not the Hall of Famer?
No, Jimmy Garoppolo, absolutely not.
Oh, shit. I thought he was a Hall of Famer.
Based on what?
Joking.
You didn't hear me say that.
Matt Ryan's okay. But Matt Ryan's on the cusp, on the borderline.
Stop it.
Matt Ryan's better than
Stop it.
Stop your shit. Okay, that's
I'm saying stop it because see, you're putting me in the awkward position of putting Danny Thompson saying that Matt Ryan's a first ballot Hall of Famer under the bus here.
That is stupid. That's a stupid statement. I said Matt Ryan could be a fringe borderline Hall of Famer. Definitely
Oh,
not.
sure. Could he get in later? Yeah, I'm 100%. It helps. It helps with the position he plays.
Yeah, the first ballot crap, get the fuck out of here with that one. That's stupid. That is beyond retarded. So, can I say
Oh my gosh. Ernest Christian going next level angry. We haven't seen this from you for a while.
Yeah, I'm a little frisky today. Sorry.
See, a proper usage of frisky for once. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, you know.
Go have some cat food and
You gave me A.
Anyway.
I get that as a B. B plus.
Okay.
B plus.
Okay.
I mean, they had a good year. I had them going to the playoffs. I had them as the four teams going in the West. It was a little shaky at times early in the year, but they figured things
because injuries, right? Call it what it is.
Of course, but they turned things around when they needed to. There was still some concerning things that we saw in the playoffs too. Like, they just couldn't put together full games together. The Dallas game, for example, they played fantastic in the first half, and then Dallas is literally within 20 yards of possibly win that game. And so the Green Bay game was kind of wonky. Obviously, they were in it, and it stuck around long enough to pull it out. I mean, this wasn't a complete team. Jimmy G had to be carrying most of the playoffs. They're good. They're a good team. That obviously
injured Jimmy G had to be carried. Can we please get this right? Otherwise, fans, especially 49er fans, we'll just talk about how awful a quarterback he is when he isn't.
Well, let's go to the up in the room here, Jimmy G. I mean, everybody just assumes he's done. It's done in San Francisco. I mean, are you feeling the same way too? And should it be?
As I don't cover them on the beat, I can't answer that. However, I could see a line of thinking that has them interested in keeping him for another one, maybe 2 seasons. However, what won't let that happen is I don't think they're willing to pay Jimmy G that kind of money to do it, right? He's going to want to be at or above his current salary. I don't think the Niners do that from a business perspective, right? Now, that being said, there are plenty of franchises out there in need of a quarterback. Everyone's talking about him being Big Ben's replacement. I think it fits. I don't think the money's right. A lot of people are talking about him the assumption would be at some point him going to Tampa would be the talk of it. Would he be that quarterback that's better than Jameis Winston that can still do well in that quarterback and potentially prove me absolutely correct? Sure. Not sure that's going to happen, but I think that's on the table. What I'm kind of shocked about is that I haven't seen any talk about Jimmy Garoppolo replacing Aaron Charlie Rodgers in Green Bay in the event that he leaves. Now, I'm still of the opinion that Rodgers is not going to leave there yet, but if he does, I think Garoppolo in Green Bay makes a ton of sense. Jimmy G gets out of a big market. He's not stuck with all those headlines and having to deal with the bull crap, and he's a good enough quarterback in that crappy division to get things done.
Yeah, the economic side, obviously Jimmy G's future, and I don't see San Francisco unless he takes a major pay cut or restructure or something of that nature. I don't see any situation where Jimmy G is back in San Francisco. Is Trey Lance ready? Though is a question.
With what they've done, I don't feel like they feel like he's ready yet. Especially when you consider their receiver core, right? I like Brandon Ayuk, but he's not a number one. I like Deebo Samuel, but he's what Josh Cribbs used to be. And credit to Brandon Howard for putting that in my head. For those of you that remember the Browns, Josh Cribbs, he would do literally everything from run the ball, catch passes, and return kicks. Like, this dude was amazing. But he was never a number one receiver talent. Right. You want to take him first in fantasy for all the points he could potentially get you in 3 phases of the game.
Nice flex.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. But my bathroom's that way, EJ. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. But you okay over there? You sound like you hurt yourself.
I don't know.
I poop too much.
Sorry.
At any rate, is that why you were late to record the pod? Moving on. I know that's why I was. Anyways, no, but
don't be rude.
I thought I called myself out. Anyways, no, I feel like Jimmy G has a lot of good fits that are out there that people like. All the places you think Teddy Bridgewater's a fit, guess what? So is Jimmy G.
Correct.
He'll have a job next year. He'll be starting next year, I feel like, if he leaves the 49ers.
I feel like the Steelers are probably the best fit. Just from a glance. If I said, give me Jimmy G.
He's the best football
right
fit, clearly.
Yes. Right. But it's more than just football, obviously, to consider. So.
And I'll be honest, going into this, I haven't checked the salary cap. Maybe they have a butt ton of room. I'm not sure. Certainly getting Ben's contract off the books is helpful. So from that standpoint, maybe they got the money for him. Jimmy Grops in Pittsburgh is fascinating. It would be interesting to see Jimmy Grops beat Bill Belichick in a playoff game in that scenario. That would be very interesting.
All right, let's get to some of the news and notes. Obviously, we have a lot of time between now and the next show we do before Super Bowl 57. Or 56. Is 57 56? 56. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we'll get to that next week. If we get a chance to, you'll be out in LA, I think. Actually, doing some.
Hey man, listen. If you're willing to do a midnight podcast, I'm willing to do. Get on there in Pacific time and rap with you.
We'll fix them out. Obviously, you know how we do it. Let's get some news and notes of the league right now. The last week that we missed. Obviously, today it's official. Tom Brady announced his retirement. He actually announced it. Obviously, heard the news on Saturday. Tom Brady, around him, his dad, all said that there was nothing official yet. Whatever. But today, Tom Brady on his Instagram announced retirement. Your thoughts?
First of all, like on Instagram, really? Because then, he did it, and then he didn't say something specific to the Patriots fans, and they're all like, "Oh, what a wicked pisser! He didn't mention us," it was a whole bunch of drama, drama. There we go. Don't be rude. Him actually retiring makes the offseason a lot less interesting now. I was all prepared to explore, and give Brady credit the things that I do enjoy about his game. His tenacity, his intelligence are truly what make him the specimen that he is. That is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer, and certainly in the conversation among top 5, top 10 quarterbacks, if not less, of all time. I'm not ready to crown him the GOAT, and I don't think that'll officially happen, just because I think somebody who's the GOAT has to have more facets to his game than he does. That being said, he is among the more intelligent quarterbacks, and that's why I always watched him, was to watch his brain process and work. It was. I saw him once in person against the Texans in Houston, with a connection to Gronk, and you can just tell by the flick of a wrist to a spot before anybody even looked to where to see the ball is. You do that with practice. You show your pupils, be them adults, children, or otherwise, Tom Brady, to know what tons and tons of practice looks like. You're getting bored to make it look that easy. That's the lesson in watching Tom Brady. And I think he should be a living fortune cookie of what preparation and practice is.
So we have joked around for years on this podcast, you and I, about the whole Brady GOAT situation. We don't see eye to eye on the whole situation. And I'm not necessarily going to ask you to give me an exact number where you place Brady all time. But if he's not the GOAT, if he's not number one all time in NFL history.
I mean, he's got to be top 3 to 5, right? That.
I mean, this is your list. I mean, I know I have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, right. You're right between his. Sorry.
I want to say it.
Alex. No, I know where you have him. But then again, is he 1A or 1D? I don't know. Everybody's the GOAT when you start talking. You made John Gruden look critical. Anyways, that was a dunk. Don't be rude. I will always wrestle.
Don't be rude.
There you go. I will always wrestle between him and Peyton Manning, because Manning is also guilty of a lot of the same things that I don't enjoy from Brady. The difference is, any coach where Peyton Manning was at quarterback, he was running the show on the offense more than the coach was, right? And that's taking nothing away from Tony Dungy. I mean, we saw what his offense looked like with his Super Bowl caliber team in Tampa, the one that Gruden stole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in, he puts together, not to say that the Colts were the best defense, but he made a bunch of guys who were solid into a good enough defense to have Peyton get his first Super Bowl, right? I think Peyton had to deal with more adversity as far as opponents goes than Tom Brady. There's a lot of little things I can talk about. Sure, Tom Brady has all these playoff wins. Playing against who exactly? Connor Cook and the Raiders, for example. Being the top seed because you won a garbage division matters. So it's really kind of hard doing apples to apples between the two of them,
Right.
But at the end of the day, Tom had Belichick, Peyton didn't. So, I mean, and oh, by the way, oh no, he doesn't have Belichick anymore. I guess he'll have to settle for Bruce Arians. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Well, next time we'll see Brazen Kenton, obviously, in 5 years. So
yeah, no, and obviously well earned. I mean, if they won't, but if they were inclined to forego the rules for Brady, ain't nobody bitching, right?
Right. We had another retirement last week before we had a chance to talk about this on the pod last week, but your boy Big Ben officially retired last week.
Yeah, you and I called for that some time ago, and I think the difference between him and Tom Brady is Ben hung around where you could definitely argue that Brady went out on top, right? Even though he didn't get to the Super Bowl and all that, but he very easily could have, right?
Mm-hmm.
How close were the Rams to handing that game back? Let us not forget this.
Yes.
Right. So I feel. Go ahead.
Here's my question though, because this question was posed to me last week by our own Zach Degenerate in a text when Ben announced retirement. Is Big Ben a top 10 quarterback all time?
No. Fundamentally, no. So let me tell you who he has to get past. Here we go. You ready? Because I saw you text that or you say something about that. I'm like, all right, here's where it goes. Is he better than Montana?
No.
Unitas?
No.
You're already in big effing trouble, right?
No.
Manning?
No.
I won't say either Manning.
He's better than Eli. Stop.
He's better than Eli. That's why I stopped there, right? Is he better than Brady? Say no.
No.
Is he better than Elway?
No.
Marino?
No.
Young?
No. Hell no.
See, so we're already
at 8.
7 in. Is he better than Steve McNair? I don't think so.
That's a little bit interesting. He's not better than Aaron Rodgers.
Now he's 10th. And you're telling me you can't come up with one more quarterback. Would you take Stafford over him? And he's not even a Hall of Famer necessarily.
I would take Ben over Stafford.
Okay, and that's a fine pick. I'm not talking trash on it.
But
would you pick him over?
If Stafford has a nice run in his career, that could change.
Fair enough. Would you take Ben over Matt Ryan? I would.
Yes, I would too. No question.
Okay. So, but only now we're at 10. And we're just picking modern guys. I could be a real a-hole and be like, you're going to put him over Otto Graham or Terry Bradshaw?
Or Fran Tarkenton?
Or I put him over Tarkenton, but that's another one. Certainly over Namath, because Namath's overrated as hell.
No, I would not.
Would you put him over Phil Simms?
Oh, yeah, of course. No, I wouldn't put him over Fran Tarkenton, though.
Okay, fine. But if we do it your way, he's already out. But you're trying to tell me I couldn't find another quarterback that's better than Big Ben? That's not true.
Definitely top 20. I argue top 15. He's definitely in the top 20.
Yeah. Well,
and I can argue.
I mean, maybe this is an episode we should have in the offseason about where we should put Ben. I could probably make an argument that he's outside the top 20 if I pick the right guys. Not that I'm looking to do that, but understand, EJ, what time period is Steve McNair? Late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're not even out of that area. I hadn't even gotten into the quarterback rich-ish, talking about the Montana era where he had guys he was competing with, And before that, where you got Air Coryell in the run and shoot offense. Is he better than guys in that area? There's some guys we could probably,
Dan Fouts. I mean, Dan Fouts. You got Warren Moon. You got Jim Kelly. I probably take Jim Kelly over Big Ben, honestly.
Game's over. He's not top 10.
He's not top 10. I'm not even arguing that. It's something because Zach.
That's what the question was it not?
No, because Zach even said himself too. Also, that he had him. He did his rankings, and he said he had him at no higher than 15. No higher than 15.
15 could be generous. I'm not mad at it, but I think it could be generous.
Right. I think the better question is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
First ballot, you have to think so. Simply because of the consistency aspect. You don't have to be a top 10 player to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. We've seen that.
But it also depends on what class you get into. If the class isn't fucking.
It's a very good point, Ernest Christian. Yes.
So I don't know.
I mean, for one, you got to take a slot away because Brady's going to be in there, right? He's already effed.
Right.
And what if Arians retires with him?
Yeah. Exactly.
Not that Arians is first ballot, but the conversation should be had of him as a Hall of Fame caliber coach. I think.
All right. Let's get some coaching news real quick. These Jim Harbaugh return to NFL rumors are heating up. Supposedly now the Dolphins are back in play. He's taking an interview with the Vikings tomorrow as this recording.
Right.
I still think personally, we touched on this a couple weeks ago, just a little bit, but these are still underling internet rumors. I still think this is still a leverage play to get a bigger contract at Michigan. Because I think, again, I'll say what I said before, and I think you and I are on the same page with this. I think his value at Michigan cannot get higher than it is now because most people are going to assume that Ohio State gets him again next year.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, taking a little bit of air that bubble that he's built up this year alone, all that goodwill he built this year by getting to beating Ohio State, winning the Big Ten, getting to the Final Four. I think the money is his value will not be bigger than it is right now. And I think that's why he's trying to do this now. Your thoughts?
I'll see that and raise you. I think you're dead on. I could certainly see a world where Harbaugh and his camp believe that the dividends he can render, that his value at Michigan can be no higher than it is right now. Also, I don't know necessarily his personal opinion about the NIL. All right, this is all speculation of how he could feel, but I doubt he's wants to coach in a world where that's a factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep hearing about these old hats. Excuse me, Kirk Ferentz, who's the longest presiding active coach in college football.
Mm-hmm. Iowa, right?
Coaches Iowa, very good. Yeah, you beat me to it. Coaches Iowa was talking to Bo Schembechler over text. I asked him about this at the Citrus Bowl press conference, about the NIL and his opinion on it. And he had Coach Showalter say to him in a text, I don't know how you still do it, dealing with all the drama and nonsense that comes forth in the college football world. And he had to coach the game without his top running back. The name escapes me at the moment. But the punchline being, coaching in that era by guys that have been doing it for a long time is seen as quite a change in burden. And also in Harbaugh's case, he has to coach as if it's real on the outside chance, interview as if it's real on the outside chance that Michigan calls his bluff. Because if Harbaugh can't raise any more in value, they need to find somebody who knows how to live and account for the NIL world. And I think at this point, though they may not know the X's and Z's, if they can handle that better first coming into the building, that's harder to coach or develop in a coach. Mm-hmm. But also that being the new generation to rope someone in and get them in now is the way you topple an Ohio State.
Yeah,
you get those plays before they can,
Right. No, the NIL narrative and that's actually a very, very interesting perspective because I think that's going to impact a lot of things going forward. Not just assuming that Harbaugh is actually considering that as well. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting swerve there as well too. Something to consider and impact how coaches approach teams, approach interviews, approach decision making, all that. That is something definitely to think about. Do you think? I think he's still going back to Michigan. That's my opinion. I would like him to go to Miami. To be honest with you. But that's my opinion as well.
And if he's a serious candidate, Miami makes sense because if you remember correctly, it was the Niners that beat Miami out in the previous campaign. They have a history of interest in Jim Harbaugh. Is he a fit there? Maybe. I don't dislike it. For context, I felt better seeing that than I did seeing Nick Saban. At least Harbaugh has pro experience going in, right? Pro success, I should say, not just experience, right? So,
yeah.
All
right, some more coaching stuff. The Giants hire Brian Daboll as their new head man. We kind of saw this after Joe Shine was announced the GM. The Buffalo, streamline. This isn't GM in Buffalo. Hire Brian Daboll as your former OC with the Bills as your head coach. My thoughts on this, of course, as a Giants fan, like the last 6 years.
As someone who gaslights as a Giants fan, yes.
Yeah, that too. Shut up. Post Tom Coughlin, it's hard to get high and low about these things anymore with hires. My first thoughts, though, I will say, is that based on on the GM hire and based on this hire, I feel good about it. I'm not going to say it's the right move. I'm going to say that Super Bowls the next year or two, but I do get a good feeling about this hire. Your thoughts?
I haven't been high on a Giants hire in the front office since Tom Coughlin, this included. Part of it, I'll admit, is because I don't think I know enough about him yet. Whereas Coughlin, I always liked what he did. What he did in Jacksonville was awesome. I know there was some player pushback and stuff, and that's part of why he left the building. But I mean, come on, he made a star out of Mark Brunell. And, he brought an expansion franchise into a place doing things they shouldn't, and they probably should have been able to do more if that pass was correctly called a forward pass against the Titans as an illegal forward pass against Buffalo. They should have never even been in the AFC Championship game that took the Jags out of the AFC Championship. By the way, side note, Ernest Christian, the Jags had 3 losses that year.
Yeah.
What's unique about that? All 3 of them were to the damn Titans. So to their credit, they achieved beating the same team 3 times.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's insane. And one more thing here. Josh Daniels is back to the head man. He took the job at the Raiders. Your thoughts?
I don't dislike it. I know that they wanted the interim guy, but the fact that everybody keeps calling him the interim guy and not by his name should tell you everything you need to know.
Yep.
I feel like they have to do what they can. The first move this coach has to do, McDaniels obviously, is get in there and realize, hey, I realize I suck at people in the past. I'm going to not be that guy. I'm here for you, Derek Carr, to give you every damn thing you want to keep you in the building to finish your career in Las Vegas. What can I do? That needs to be his first damn phone call.
I agree.
So,
do you think this increases the chance of Derek Carr staying in Vegas? I think it does.
It doesn't hurt it. I think he definitely wanted the interim guy. He said as much. Okay.
Right.
But if you're going to have it be somebody else, McDaniels isn't bad. Like, I remember reading stuff about Alex Smith being bothered by the fact that the Niners were courting Peyton Manning when he ended up in Denver instead. Hey, get over yourself. It's Peyton effing Manning. Now, granted, I don't look at Josh McDaniels in that light, but I mean, they could definitely have done worse, no question.
Right. I'm with you. Other than that, I think that's about it here. Kyle, plug away.
Not really, because here's another interesting element to the Jacksonville Jaguars coaching situation.
Okay.
Now, Ernest Christian, what was my scuttlebutt? What was my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory regarding Byron Leftwich and why he hadn't immediately taken the Jacksonville Jaguar job? Do you remember?
Trent Baalke?
No, we didn't know about that till later. I said my theory.
Oh, your theory. Shit. I forgot.
You got tapped on the shoulder to do what?
To get the Bucs job?
To get the Bucs job. Interesting. So now that Thomas Edward Bieber Brady is retiring, let me ask you, as suddenly now I'm the host of your show, Ernest Christian, what do you think are the chances that Bruce Arians, the old man that he is, stays around?
I think it sinks. I think it sinks them.
I agree. At the very least, it's not past this season. So this is why Byron, and to his credit, by the way, I am a Byron Leftwich supporter as a coaching candidate. He was never my favorite quarterback. I was always perturbed that they replaced Brunell with him, and I always loved it when David Garrard replaced him. I thought he was the inferior quarterback in every situation, and then he backed up Ben in Pittsburgh, and I thought he was awesome again. All the above being this. I think he did a great job leveraging it, knowing he has that in his pocket. That's masterfully done. That's how it should be done. He and his agent did a great job. And the only people that look stupid in the whole thing, the Jaguars. Oh, wait, you mean we get rid of the plague that's causing all this trash in our franchise, you'll come? Yeah, I'm good.
No, I can see that playing out. I'll be honest with you. So I can see that playing out. I can see that playing out now, and especially now with the, because I do believe the Balky stuff is true. Also, the Trent Balky stuff is true. So, but yeah, I think it's definitely
what specifically? Oh, him wanting out? Yeah, I do too.
He want to bring his own guy instead of having Balky there.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
So that I do think is a real thing. So
100%.
Plug away, buddy.
All right. First of all, Ernest Christian, I want to remind you that I'm here to have fun because football is awesome. I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my work with the Black and Gold Banneret covering UCF basketball and football, mostly basketball lately. I will be at Edition Financial Arena tomorrow night covering the men's basketball team. Then check out my work as well with the 3-point conversion. That's the number 3, not the word 3. And next week, Ernest Christian, I will be on the West Coast in Los Angeles at a media event of some sort surrounding the Super Bowl. That'll be where I'm at there. So that's going to be a good time all the way around. Hopefully I could get in and have time to talk with you because, football is awesome.
You're damn right.
And of course, check out me and my good friend Demosthenes Euclid for Hilarity by Default. Good times all the way around there. My schedule has been problematic as covering sports, so we haven't recorded any new episodes, but we got plenty in the can that should still be coming. If Demos could get some dang time out of his schedule to get things going, because he's a busy man as well. Let's not make any mistakes. But EJ Christian, man, good times all the way around. Sorry we have confirmed facts that your rankings are horrible.
But it's every year.
And I'm sure. What's that?
Every year anyway, so no big deal. Just me every year.
Yeah. Listen, when you do good, I tell you, you just haven't been. The person I feel sorry for the most is Jim Neese of, yes, thank you. The person I feel the worst for is Jim Neese because we don't have an episode of Huddle Up this week. He doesn't get his turn to talk trash on the air to you, but I'm sure winter is coming.
Well, we are actually recording a podcast tonight, though, him and I. So.
Uh-oh. Well, hey, yeah.
Well, we're
going
to
get that wetsuit on. You're going to get dunked.
We're going to touch on football. Touch on it a little bit, not too much, though. Yeah.
Anyways.
Podcast. Anyway, so
yeah, that should be fun. Look out for that on the Earnestly Speaking Media, a.k.a. Op Nation 2.0.
Jesus Lord, dude.
Of course. Until next time, my friend, good times. Class dismissed.